Willy Wise. This is me. Every time I write a rhyme, I take my time to make it mine, for eventually my serenity is what I find. As I find I can't stand humankind or the thoughts you plant in my mind. That's why I love to chill alone. It's great, yeah, I chill my own. That's right, I love to chill alone, so no one can tell me not to put on a cone. As I sometimes feel that my life is too hard, so I put up my guard in the house, no yard. Through and through, I'm heavily scarred, that the cracks in the roads, they're heavily tarred. See, when I was young, I was used and abused, and for that now, I refuse to confuse. Just listen to my songs, I know my rights from wrongs. All I wanted to do was hate him, you see. And yeah, well that there, yeah, it comes for free. Cause when they sent him to the penitentiary, they should have thrown away the bloody key. As I was only 8, but it didn't send my fate. You see, he started that war when I was only 4. Just hoped that all we learned was completely returned. For twice a case adjourned in 6 years, that pedo earned 6 years shit. I got longer from my peers. I was getting in fights with them pulling on my ears. There's no justice in the system for an innocent victim. Way too many long sleepless nights. I will never forget those messed up nights and all this stories we went through. I'm not kidding, man, this bullshit's true, but it gave me the clues I needed. It wasn't him from was seated, and I won't lie. The only reason I have succeeded thus far is I've defeated those scars. So that pedo, well, he was my adopted father, so putting my trust in men, well, there's other things I'd rather. It took a little while till my mum told me about my dad. He wasn't the one all of my brothers had. So I met my old man and things were going great, though inside I wanted to do was celebrate. But all my brothers, well, they grew with hate. Now there wasn't a single thing that I could do, mate. Now one night, I had stayed with my old man, and the next day, he had a secret plan. The old man's plan was to take me fishing. See, we didn't catch shit that day, but it didn't matter anyway. Then on my birthday, he bought me a bird in a cage. Mum thought he had turned a page. For a while there, I was almost at my peak until he hadn't contacted me for weeks. Now months went by and still no word. And so I waited and waited, but still no word. And so I ended up giving up to one day in the afternoon while watching a cartoon, the phone beginning to ring. I didn't expect it to be him, but I knew it was him. As her words were few, she said, "Fuck off, he doesn't want to talk to you." Then she hung up the phone. You see, once again I felt alone. As that shit wasn't true, no, she had no bloody clue. Though what else could I do, as I just wanted an answer. Was he dying from cancer? But rather than getting to know his son, he was back on the heroin. A few years later I started high school. I'm just glad I wasn't a total tool, meeting new people unaware of my history. To most of them I kept that shit a mystery, as keeping it a mystery made it easier for me. Till this fucker, he hit me in the back one day. So I gave him back what he deserved that day. It was a lesson reserved just for him that day. I taught him that I knew how to handle myself. It turns out I needed to take care of myself, as life's not one that you will find on the shelf. And all I've got going for me, well, shit, actually it's just my health. After high school, having a ciggy one day, it turns out my life changed further that day. As two boys from a troublesome family thought it was funny to moon my mate and me, and so we bared ours back. Yeah, we were showing some sack, but ours had some hair. Yeah, we thought it was fair. They ran home to Deb and Dob and did a really good job. It's a pity the story they were telling was false, but their mum had to ring, mine of course. So when my mum questioned me like I had done something wrong, stupidly, I had to lie, of course. Now I thought about that lie for so bloody long, as I was just having a ciggy after all, and I thought that's what I was in trouble for. See, we were standing behind trees as we didn't want to be seen like we were smoking weed. I mean, shit, we were 13 and we just thought it was some harmless fun exposing our bums. So the coppers were on the case and the witness had said that we never went near him, but it still hurt my mum like a period pain. And yet again, things were never the same. Just another fork in the road that I had to tame. It wasn't long in foster care, well, that was the same. I moved a few times before I was all alone. I moved a few more times before I found my home. I was never accepted for a lack of similarities while living with two foster families. Now me and my mother, we didn't communicate. That started about the time that I learned to fornicate. So I sat and I wrote her a letter. I felt just a little bit better. Though I turned 18 before I stupidly moved back in, I should have thrown that idea straight into the bin. overdosing on piss and prescription pills. Those thoughts, well, they still give me chills. Using suicide for attention, so I had her bailed up before homicide was my intention. Told her to get help or I would take the boys, as I was sick of all the stupid games and ploys. But she moved away, so I stayed astray, and now we don't talk and we'll never speak again. I guess that's all that needs to be said, so this is where I will rest my pen.